Shalom, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom also to the one-third Israelites, which include the Judah children, Ezekiel, Nikos, Latinus, and Indians, who are still oppressed together according to the book of Jeremiah 50 and 32, but to whom Saleh, paternity, adoption, the giving of the law, the promises, the covenants according to the book of Romans chapter 9, okay, which is namely the blessing in the book of Genesis, if you don't know. Okay, and this article here, I will read it and then we will go into some scriptures, because I don't want to go into scriptures before we was reading the article fully. So let's start real quick, So the suicide sanctions against Russia will collapse America, and Joe Biden was installed as the useless idiot that will usher in our destruction by design. Okay, I just read it. Okay, I don't call anybody idiot. Okay, I believe the scripture tells you, even if you call somebody, stupid, basically. Okay, you basically have to calculate with hell, man. Okay, I'm not stupid, but there's a certain word. Yeah, I can't like idiot. Okay, if you call somebody idiot. But let's continue. So I just read it, by Susan Duclos. Okay, sounds, she's most likely American. All News Pipeline. And this is this website where I got that article, right? A quick quote from a quick head tip to Steve Quayle for suicide sanction. Portion of the headline as I lifted it from a SQ note. A recent quote from Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm highlights the sheer suicidal nature of the sanctions against Russia on the part of America after the Russia-Ukraine war began. As you know, gasoline comes from oil. Granholm told Fox News Sunday oil is traded on a global market, so where we are at the whim, if you will, of what happens globally. Globally, Russia is the world's third largest oil producer and plays an outsized role in global oil markets. Which means anything related to Russian oil in the global market affects the entire world's energy costs. Natural gas prices has already spiked to a 14-year high, and in Europe that is approximately 7 times higher, according to CNN. Analysts say Europe's natural gas crisis is contributing to the higher natural gas prices in America, although it's not the main driver. The point here is that we have allowed ourselves to become so interconnected with the international community that anything that affects them eventually ends up in affecting Americans. On August 8, 2022, it was reported that Goldman Sachs forecasted gas prices would once again rise back to an average of $4.35 a gallon. Gasoline prices are not cents, I believe you say like $4.35, okay, whatever, it's maybe not called cents, Here in Germany it's euro and cent, okay, over there, I don't know, dollar, 4.35, okay, whatever. Gasoline, I was never in America. Current prices are set to rise back to roughly $4.35 per gallon by the end of the year, Goldman Sachs analyst said in a report. Prices will continue to climb next year as well, rising to an average of $4.40 in 2022. According to the report, by August the 16th, others were making the same predictions, as reports were warning Americans that after falling 9 weeks straight, experts say gas prices may rise again. Okay, actually the Simpsons thing is not really so stupid, okay? You have many episodes in Simpsons that talk about different things that already happened, so you can't say, okay, our Simpsons doesn't predict things, what would not appear also in real life. Okay, so I believe this war, okay, this what is it? This war of the people, of the normal people. Okay, the scripture even tells you people will fight against each other. Okay, so that's just biblical. It's not just Simpsons. Okay. Biting the hand that heats you. Flash forward on to Monday, September the 5th, and we see that European nations which joined America in sanctioning Russia over the Russia-Ukraine war, we have just seen the rest of their gas supply from Russia, whom they depend on for heat during the upcoming winter cut off. European gas prices rocketed higher again on Monday, September the 5th. They were up as much as 30%. In early trade, the jump came after Russia shut off supplies via the key Nord Stream 1 pipeline. It says it's found a leak that will put the facility out of use until further notice. Europe says Moscow is just weaponizing energy supplies and retaliation for Western sanctions. Nord Stream 1 used to transport about a third of the Russian gas exported to Europe. Though it recently been running at just fifth of its usual capacity, Russian gas supplies via Ukraine, another major route, have also been reduced. It all leaves Europe scrambling to find alternative sources before winter. Okay, and there's a certain place where the Russians cut it off the energy, the electricity. I mean, okay. So they had no electricity and no water in that whole city, I believe. Okay, I don't know if it's still there or whatever, but you have to YouTube that on your own maybe. Several states have triggered emergency plans that could lead to energy rationing. Okay. It all leaves Europe scrambling to find alternative sources before winter can. Think about that. Russia supplies European countries with the majority of the supply, and because said countries led by the United States decide to punish Russia with sanctions because they don't approve of Russia's behavior regarding Ukraine, they are now scrambling to find alternative sources while the markets are wetlet and prices across Europe are now surging. What did they expect to happen? You do not bite the hand that feeds you, or in this case, that heats you, and expect them to simply continue offer the supplies, in this case, gas. All those warnings about how gas prices will be going up again without decreasing to what they were before Biden started occupying the White House, and now this emergency AMP fundraiser due to the what is this here? Due to the Google ad services just dropping NP articles, we're running an fundraising drive this very moment and into the near future. We also want to thank everybody who has donated to ANP, okay, All News Pipeline. Okay, I don't donate to this website, okay, I don't know this website, this is the first time that I'm on this website, okay. Okay, one thing that you should donate is the elders and apostles. Okay, they are if you don't have a bank connection where you can donate to, okay, ask the brotherhood. If you don't have a brotherhood, okay, this is maybe the first thing what you should have. And then you can also do things like that, which is important, and it's even a law, and you should keep it. You have donations and keep online, blah blah blah. Okay, and here on this flag is BidenFlation, the cost of installing stupid. Okay, you have to be careful if I just read it or only by reading it, because videos can get deleted by reading this flag, maybe even. Okay, so we don't know, but I actually said nothing so special at all, but it can be. But it can also be if you just say nothing because of videos that you did 2 years ago. Okay, for example, you did a video about the the juice shots, the Depop shots 2 years ago, and 2 years later they come with, oh, we have to delete your video and your channel is banned for 2 or 3 weeks because of this video. Nonsense. Okay, so they can come up with anything basically. Biden prices hikes. Okay, we will read this, of course. As shows, Biden continues to claim the rise in gas prices are Putin's price hikes in a speech on June the 2020. Joe Biden admitted the following: "We could have turned a blind eye on Putin's murderous ways, and the price of gas wouldn't have spiked the way it has." In other words, had Biden, on behalf of the United States of America, minded our own business, since there was no national security interests for America to justify inserting ourselves into what was happening there, we wouldn't have seen the price hikes. Also, he claims, in reality, our butting in where we did not belong simply made the matter worse, but did not create it. The gas price hikes started before the Russian-Ukraine conflict. In March 2022, the Washington Times asked and answered the following question: who caused the gas price increase, Putin or Biden? What do the facts show? The last full month former President Donald Trump was in office, December 2020, the average retail price of gasoline in the US was $2.20 per gallon. Mr. Biden, upon taking office in January, immediately declared war on the fossil fuel industry, as he said he would. He shut down construction on the infamous Keystone Pipeline during his first week. His administration took away drilling permits and leases on federal land, denied permits for other pipelines, discouraged banks from lending to the petroleum industry, and held up permits for new or expanded LNG terminals to make exporting LNG more difficult and expensive, among other things. By contrast, the Trump administration had a series of pro-oil and gas production policies to make the US self-sufficient and even an energy exporter. The numbers show the Trump administration met its goals and then some. Putin was to be Biden's scapegoat in order to abdicate his own responsibility for declaring war against the gas industry and forcing Americans to pay outrageous gas prices. Okay, not just the Americans, also here in Germany, okay? What is Thiemann? As Biden manipulated the price of gas by releasing 1 billion barrels a day from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve (SPR), which depleted the reserves to the lowest level since 1986, meaning that fix, which was nothing more than slapping a band-aid on a gaping wound, is unsustainable, and especially since Biden has also been exporting more than 5 million barrels of oil from the reserves to Asia and Europe. Related, US Strategic Petroleum Reserve hits lowest level since 1985. Now that Russia has cut some European countries off totally, okay, citing the sanctions, which they claim that sanctions are preventing them from the maintenance needed to start supply them again, they are seeing the consequences of their own action. The Europeans aren't the only ones that will suffer, as even before this latest hit on the energy sector in Europe, US gas prices were expected to rise almost to where they were before Biden attempted to manipulate them downward with the SPR releases. The fall of the American empire, the suicide sanctions, while countries in Europe will be suffering. Okay, again, Thiemann, Germany also with talk of forcing their citizens to ration their energy consumption as winter approaches. Okay, and they also have here in Germany a discussion basically about, all the energy that we have in Germany produced, things like that, okay. So it's basically more complicated than they thought it would be, okay. But of course they should have known it better, just like it says here in this article, what you expect, okay, if you basically declare war with sanctions on a nation that basically delivers you all that stuff, you know. Okay, while countries in Europe will be suffering with talk of forcing their citizenry to ration their energy consumption as winter approaches, American families are about to feel more than just the pain of the pumps as gas prices start rising again. Food prices continue to rise and will continue to rise as the upcoming gas price hikes will affect grocery prices simply due to the need to transport products to the stores, rising their costs, which forces the stores to continue rising consumers' prices. On top of that, because of the BidenFlation, America has been suffering. Okay, that could be a new term. Okay, BidenFlation. United States of America has been suffering already. 20 million US homes are already behind on the electric bills, causing headlines about a tsunami of shutoffs. 3.8 million more Americans are expected to be homeless, evicted from their present residence with the next 2 months as winter approaches. How can all this be seen as anything other than the collapse of the West, for no other reason than we and European countries couldn't mind our own damn business? No, the United States of America has to have their hands everywhere in other people's business. Bottom line, between sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, money which could have been used to help Americans through inflation, help the supply chain issues, produce more energy at home, record high food prices, gas prices still above where they were when Biden started occupying the White House, and expected to rise more, the sanctions against Russia are indeed suicide sanctions, which is causing the rapid collapse of the West, including America. Incompetence alone cannot explain all this. America is being destroyed by design. Okay, this is a really important point. Let's read it again. Okay, I talked about Simpsons. I talked about the prophecies of the Bible, which is also a reason why you have Simpsons. I talked about false flags in many videos. I talked about, basically these things that are what it explains the sentence here. Again, incompetence alone cannot explain all this. America is being destroyed by design. And if you, for example, there's a channel called Survival, what is his name? Not Bug Survival, I don't know, but the brothers, okay, and the elders and apostles even watch them a lot also. This guy there with I believe he has no hair, right? Talking about prepare your family, buy weapons. In America, here in Germany, it's not allowed to have weapons, but if you live in America, I can even understand. There are even different brothers that have guns, okay, because it's lawful there, but just saying, it's not like they use it like other people would use it, but to say like that, okay, these people are no murders because they want to have guns at home. Okay, these heathens, for example, being having a defense, okay, because people will come to the house. It's people against people, and that is what Simpson shows you. Okay, what the Bible tells you. People will fight against each other for food, maybe, and things like that, and whatever. You can read it clearly in the Bible, but now it's here basically. Okay, in this suicide sanctions whole whole thing here, what has to do with Russia also. Okay, the suicide sanctions. Okay, the price hikes. Of course, people can't buy shit, so of course they will. I was listening to this guy from, I don't know, is it Backward Survival? I'm confused because I watch many German channels also that talk about survival things. So I watch too much of that, so I really don't remember the name, right? Even when I watched it, even weekly, man. Okay, Salache for that, but you know. Anyway, he talked about that there are people that even steal chicken. You have to think of that. Okay, people who go to some farmers and steal their chicken. Okay, and that is already how far we are in America. Okay, that is how far it is in America. Okay, that's crazy, man. Okay, but next day it will not be your chicken, it will be your children. Okay, you better believe that. Yeah, Khan, we will go into some scriptures. Okay, and then we will basically end this video. So let's go into the first scripture. Okay, people fighting against each other. Fighting one another. Okay, so if they got something also in the Simpsons stuff, they got it from the Bible, of course, you know. I wrote something wrong. Let me swords in their hands. Okay, and the swords is the modern day gun, okay? These Neanderthals, like GMS Tanzania says, you know, Yeshaya, these Neanderthals and their guns. Here comes 2nd Esdras 15 and 15. We will read the whole chapter, the whole context. 2nd Esdras 15 and 15. For the sword and the destruction draw it nigh. Salachi, I'm a little bit, you know, exhausted because of I played tennis today. Okay. For the sword and the destruction draw it nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Okay, and these modern day swords is these guns. Okay, these Neanderthals and their guns. Egypt shall mourn, verse 12, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it. Okay, and you have masses of people in America, in the United States of America right now, being in a mourning state, okay, because of the rulership, because of you know, not everybody is with these sanctions and things like that. Then you have people being in a mourning state because of the health situation with all this corona thing. Then you have people being basically completely bogged out from democracy there, you know, kind of like having something against these ruling class anyway. Okay, just waiting for the right time to basically going out of the house with their guns and stuff, you know. Okay, so this war is at an escalation point, but of course we will wait until the chip comes in a certain way. Okay, and just leave it there. Because you have many plagues. Also, yesterday I saw a video about the angel that basically the time where the dirt part of man is to be slayed and things like that. Okay, so it's getting interesting. Okay, it's getting interesting. Okay, verse 13. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail to the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Can't, because you have the super elites. You have the super elites basically also be. Yeah, can't, because verse 16 says, "For there shall." Verse 15, or let's read verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Okay, for the sword and their destruction draw it nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. You see, swords in their hands, which is these guns. For there, verse 16, shall be sedition among men. Okay, you can't show me somebody who really walks around with a sword nowadays, okay? This was in a time of Yahushua and things like that, okay? But nobody does it today. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. Okay, sword can also be these bombs that they use oftentimes, you know. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, which are these ruling class, okay? But the super elites, they already have their bunker and they're already basically in there already, you know. But now they have still time to put money in their preparation for their bunker, okay? They have still some time to do that because the destruction isn't here yet. The chip isn't, of course it's here, you know, the chip, but you know, it's not mandatory right now and things like that. Because when the chip comes, then the destruction comes also. Kind of like, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the cause of their actions shall stand in their power. You see, because there will be a law of war, basically, which is so-called law war, if you will, which means there is really no law, because people will, the law will be basically the weapons, or the law will, you know, like in the dinosaur age, you know, or the dinosaur time, you know, the the strongest dinosaur will survive, basically. Okay, that will how it will be. Okay, soon on this earth, man. Okay, verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Okay, because you will have these military stations and bases and things like that. Okay, so you want to go in the city to whatever reason. Okay, it's not possible then in this time. Verse 18, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled and the houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. Okay, you read something about man will be like woman in these days. Okay, these are those same men. Okay, what you think today? Oh, they are, you know, they have so much muscles and things like that. Okay, but these men will be like women, man. Okay, if they don't have the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, because we know what's coming. Okay, to the spirit, and we basically expect things to happen. So we don't wonder, or we not surprised or so. Okay. So with that, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kadosh, Barakatan. Shalom.